And welcome back to Whiskey Buds. I'm Kurt,
I'm Billy.
and we are still on our search for the whiskey that Billy is going to like the best. Last episode, we had good luck. We found a bottle that he actually seemed to kind of like. So,
Best
of course,
so far, probably.
the Dalmore, which, I mean, honestly, I got to admit that of all the whiskeys we have tried so far, it is by far my favorite. Although I have ones I prefer more than it, but it is definitely one that I do. I mean, as you can tell by how often I drink it, I do like to save this one, just because it is more enjoyable. I like to keep it for the more special occasions.
But like you said, there's like a bit of a sherry flavor in there.
Yep.
Which I'm not a huge fan of, so I'm ready to
Try something
keep
new.
looking.
All right. Well,
it's not quite. I don't think that's quite it.
We've been hitting the malts the last few episodes.
Okay.
And the first couple we just tried to do a few. Now we've moved into the malts, the blended, and now the single malt. And now we're going to throw a curveball. So you've noticed that each one of these has all been different, right?
Yeah.
The two similarities were the
Monkey
Shoulder and the Toki, the Centauri Toki.
Yes.
Those had similarities, and those are the closest two that we had in similarities. This one is going to be different from all of them. And I kicked around doing one of the ones, and I mean, we'll do it later on, of course, but I thought we'd keep it simple because I was able to find a bottle the other day. And we are going to do a rye whiskey. Think about drinking or eating a lot of white bread, and now we're going to give you rye bread. It's literally the same grain.
Rye bread.
In rye bread. Ham and Swiss on rye.
Reuben?
Yeah, I think that would be similar to that.
I like Reubens.
Yeah. But you notice the bread tastes so much different than everything else. Well,
so that's like the darker bread, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And
got a lot of flavor.
Yeah. Although, I mean, that's really actually not that dark.
I don't think I'd want to drink that kind of bread, though.
Yeah. It reminds me of the joke where the guy comes the wife comes back and looks at her husband on the couch and says, I should not have bought you a blender. And I look at her and say, what? As I'm drinking my toast.
You didn't make this, right?
No, as you can see. Actually.
Okay, so this is a brand new bottle.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I haven't been able to get out of town. And so this isn't sold very easily locally. And I found the last bottle in Saratoga. So that was where I found this.
Okay, so you can't just go to...
You can, yeah. It's so easily available on the shelf, but not here.
So you can't just go to the local liquor store and buy whatever whiskey you want?
Not necessarily. It depends on what they do, how the states are run, and how the liquor store does it, and what sells at the liquor store. So for like us, there's going to be a handful of people going to watch this video, and they're going to scream at me because I can go down and buy Blanton's. Oh, I don't know. I got 7 or 8 bottles upstairs. I gave Charlie a bottle, or Billy here, a bottle. I've given them to friends because I know they're hard to get. But I've got several bottles. I've been able to find them without a huge difficulty. They come out every few months. Every few months I buy a bottle. And I have a harder time finding Bulleit Bourbon Rye, at least in my town, than I do Blanton's. But just a quick trip anywhere, and I find this easy. But then I can't find Blanton's. So I guess you got to live with the trade-offs. For some reason, that just doesn't feel like a bad trade-off to me.
All right, Frontier whiskey. It's 45%, so it's higher alcohol content than the last one, right?
Yes. This is the highest that we've had. The last one was only 40%. The other two were 43%. Or the others that we had these other episodes. But
95% rye mash.
Yep.
Rye mash for Superior American Rye Whiskey.
And then the other is malted barley. 5% malted barley, 95% rye.
This is from Indiana.
So it's actually, Bulleit is not there. It's distilled in Indiana, which means it is probably an MGP product, which is, I believe, Midwest Grain Products. Basically, that's like an industrial distiller. they make and do things. So like you and I could actually open up our own distillery if we wanted to. But, you know, we talked about in the last episode that a 12-year-old whiskey, you got to have barrels that are 12 years old. So it takes 12 years. So if we wanted to make a 12-year-old whiskey, we could start today, and in 12 years we could have a 12-year-old whiskey.
Oh, that'd be painful.
Or, with enough capital, you can go find MGP and buy a 12-year-old whiskey from them, bottle it yourself, and sell it. Now, you can do other things, like we could, say, go buy a 12-year-old whiskey from them, bring it back, put it into some sherry casks, right? You know, pick up some sherry casks, age it in the Wyoming, you know, weather, and say, here's Wyoming whiskey, or not Wyoming whiskey, we'll try that later, but here's a whiskey from Wyoming, even though it's distilled in Indiana and aged most of the time there. Okay. So we could actually change it and do that. Or think about this, Bulleit Bourbon makes their own bourbon, but they wanted to add a rye, so they can go and do their rye.
That's not a bourbon.
No.
This is just...
It's a rye whiskey.
Rye whiskey.
Yep.
Okay.
Straight up rye whiskey. That's exactly what it is.
So we've had Scotch, bourbon, and rye whiskey.
Yep. And blended Japanese whiskey.
And blended.
Yeah. And moonshine. So, yeah. Oh, we're missing corn whiskey. I have some upstairs.
That just doesn't sound good. I don't know.
That's what moonshine was.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was bland.
Good pop. All right, now this stuff here is going to be, I'm sure, different than anything else that you've had.
This looks like about the same color as the, what was that, Toki?
Yeah. Very light.
Yeah. Well, can maybe a little darker.
Yeah.
It's more like, darker. More like the monkey shoulder. Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah, that's really close. They put monkey shoulder in the Bulleit bourbon. Or, no, sorry, Bulleit Rye.
Or they, like you said, they get it from the same place.
Yeah. Well, no, monkey shoulder they wouldn't, because...
Nope, this is different.
Wow, yeah. That's not even like the bourbon.
I kind of burned my nose. So that has maybe some caramel in there.
Okay.
Does it?
I don't know. I'm not picking any up myself, but that's...
Well, any of the caramel I smell is like really light, though. It's not like a...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the flavors you're going to smell are going to be like, yeah, that's in there, but it's always going to be kind of light.
Yeah, it's just a hint of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There might be some spicy, like a bit of spice. I'm trying to think of what other...
It smells kind of good, though.
Does it? You like that?
I think so. It definitely doesn't have the sherry smell the last one did.
No, not even close.
It does smell good. Yeah, it smells good.
Give it a taste and see.
Let's do it. I don't like it. What's wrong with it? It smelled so good.
Oh man, I think it's actually really good.
Shouldn't have bought you a blender. What just happened?
It smells so good, and you take a drink and no.
Okay, I got to process this for a minute here.
All right.
Okay, so after the last one, I was all excited. I'm like, okay, whiskey's starting to get good. Like,
all right, yeah.
That tasted good. This smells good. And I tasted it, and I was like, no, this is all wrong. All right, let me taste it again. Because I might have just done it wrong.
I don't think I've ever actually drank this straight. Actually, I don't think I've ever had this exact bourbon. I was going to do a High West rye whiskey, but I thought, let's go with a more traditional, something that is more prevalent.
Okay. It smells good, though. So this is a sniffing whiskey.
Yeah.
Like, you don't drink it, you just sniff it.
Yeah, sniffing whiskey, sipping whiskey, chugging whiskey.
Chugging whiskey?
Yeah. Well, there's some guys that like to do that.
Yeah, they're 20.
That's about right.
That's when I used to chug whiskeys when I was 20. Like, you don't taste it, you just put it down.
Yeah. You drink to get drunk.
Yeah.
We're trying to sample the whiskeys where you're going to sit down and enjoy it.
Yeah, I just want to like taste it, not to get drunk, but to enjoy it.
Yeah. So I don't know, like.
Guys, I am so confused right now. Okay, so like it doesn't have the strong alcohol flavor like the monkey.
Okay. Like, are you getting a huge burn? Yeah. I told you this was going to be unlike anything else. See, I'm getting a weird, funky aftertaste. Like, when I sip it and drink it, like, it's really good. And now, like, as I'm having a bit of an aftertaste, I don't, like, it's not as good, but it's still good, right? Like some of the others, the aftertaste is like, oh yeah, let's go back for another. This one isn't exactly that, but drinking it is very good.
It might be growing on me a little bit. No. What just happened? Why? It's like it's just messing with me. It smells good. It tastes bad. It tastes good in a minute, and then
it's like going through the different.
I do not
processes.
I don't trust this whiskey at all.
All right.
Whew.
Well, we have a few more ryes in the whiskey cabinet to try.
God, I don't know. It's like there's moments of it just being really good.
Yeah.
And then there's moments of it just like, gotcha.
Yeah, good. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's one of those ideas of like finding a whiskey that's just gonna like, really make you work for it. Honestly, I bought this one because there's a lot of recipes I want to try for cocktails that call for rye bourbons. Or rye. There's no rye bourbon. Anyway, rye whiskeys. And I didn't have any ryes that I wanted to mix necessarily. Not that I'm not willing to mix them, but I've got like the High West, and I much prefer to sip on that than mix it. And the truth is, I have a High West, which is a rye whiskey, like this, right? That is aged in port casks, right? Like the previous one was, the Dalmore was in sherry casks. This is in port casks, which is a distilled wine, right? Sherry is a dessert wine. Port is distilled wine.
Port's like probably less sweet and more stronger or something? Or?
Probably. The truth is, I haven't actually tasted port. Or even sherry. I've had different types of wines on occasion, but haven't actually actively gone for it. But basically, they just take something like this, they put it into a barrel that used to hold port, and then it adds a sweetness to it.
I don't know.
So that one is now found a new bottom.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No, like
this might actually be my second favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Like.
I like it. It just messes with me.
I don't know.
I know it's like I don't know. There's like, it's good, it's bad, it's good, it's it's an adventure.
Yeah.
Like if you're, I'm super confused with this whiskey. It smells really good. Mm-hmm. It tastes good for a second, and then it like
changes to something else.
It like grabs your tongue and twists it, but then it lets go, and I don't know. This is really weird.
Yeah.
It's fun though. It's fun. You should try it.
Yes, you should try all of these.
Just try it.
It's very share in the experience, and just start trying them all.
Maybe not try the monkey shoulder.
That one?
Okay.
The monkey shoulder over the Toki.
But try a friend's bottle.
It's cheap enough. Just try your own. It mixes wonderfully. And honestly, they actually on the monkey shoulder they do say it is a perfect whiskey for mixing. That it blends together with a lot of other stuff.
It's good right now.
Right? That after flavor, actually, that's not quite so much, but It does. It's almost like eating a sandwich, huh?
No.
No?
Well, no. No.
Oh. All right, well. Is that it for this episode?
Yeah, you guys do whatever. I'm going to sit here and ponder this whiskey some more. I don't know what just happened.
Maybe we'll pour them another bottle or another glass. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm so confused.
Cheers, everybody.
See ya.